So hi guys, Mr. Me here. I am here with Eric Ortega from Denver Pipefitters, and we are going to talk a little bit about their apprenticeship program. So Eric, if you could just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the apprenticeship.
Great, thanks for having me. My name's Eric Ortega. I'm the training director for the Denver Pipefitters Apprenticeship Program. And what we offer is a 5-year apprenticeship program for the pipe fitting industry. We teach individuals like yourselves everything they need to know to be successful at having a long career at the pipe fitting industry.
Awesome. What are the requirements for students who may be interested in going into the pipe fitting industry?
So the only requirements we have currently is that you are 18 years old and that you have a valid driver's license. You do have to have a high school diploma or a GED. We take either one. And then we require all applicants to take what's called the Connects Approve It exam. And we give the information on how to register and take that test on the day of application.
So you mentioned that the apprenticeship is 5 years in length. What is the salary range over the course of those 5 years?
So our first year apprentices currently are making $20.03 taxable wage. And then on top of that, they have a benefit package once they're eligible. So their total package is right around the $30 mark. And then once you advance through the program, if you meet all the requirements, our journeyman members currently are making $40.05 an hour plus their benefit package. So it's a significant amount of money, but it is, there's a lot of risk, and there's, construction sites are always a dangerous place to be. And sometimes when it's cold outside, we're working out in the cold, and when it's hot, we're usually on a roof working. So we definitely endure a lot of environmental factors.
Can you tell me a little bit about what like an average week looks like for an apprentice in the program, like combining the education coursework as well as the working aspect?
Sure. So if you're selected into our apprenticeship program, you get a full-time job, usually working 40 hours a week. Depending on the contractor that you're assigned to, the task for that individual can be different, but most of the time it's anything that needs to be done that doesn't require a high skill level to accomplish those goals. So organizing material, running material to different crews among the jobs. If you work for one of the smaller contractors and you're advancing your learning and your training, they can put you on a little more skilled work. But usually it's the stuff that the journeymen are a little bit overpaid to do or overqualified to do. Like I said, organizing material, driving a forklift, doing that kind of stuff. The school aspect of it. So if you're in our program, you'd be required to go to class 2 nights a week for 3.5 hours each night. And we follow the traditional school year just like you would in high school. So September through May is usually when we do our school. Again, it's 2 nights a week. So depending on what year you're in the apprenticeship program would depend on the nights. We typically do Monday through Thursdays, and then some Saturdays are involved in the apprenticeship program.
Is there any cost to students for the program, any upfront fees or things like that?
So our registration for our apprenticeship is $208 a year. It's real, when you look at the cost of the books that we provide our apprentices going through the program, our first year apprentices total books are right around the $650 mark. So the registration doesn't cover the full cost of the apprentice going through the program. The great thing about being in the union apprenticeship program is that the members of the local, all 1,800 of our members currently, pay into a training fund, which in essence is a full ride scholarship for the apprentice to go through the education piece so that they could get educated on what we do as a trade, as what we need to be as professionals, and do the installations as a professional.
So you mentioned earlier about working with contractors. I know some apprenticeships, students are required to find their own contractors to work with, or do you help students find those contractors?
So with a union apprenticeship program like ours, you get assigned to a contractor. Currently, we have 63 contractors that are signatory with us. So you could work for any of those 63 contractors throughout your 5 years of your apprenticeship program. We do have a lot of apprentices that work for the same contractor their whole career, but we do have some that, no fault to their own, they go to work for a contractor. That contractor slows down. They just lay them off and they come back down here to the union hall and the apprenticeship program, and then they get redispatched out to a different contractor. The other good thing about that is that if you're with one contractor, let's say in an open shop environment, if they get slow and they have to lay you off, your apprenticeship ends. With the union apprenticeship program, you come back to the union hall, you go to a different contractor, your apprenticeship never stops. It's through the union hall, it's not through the contractor base.
You mentioned that the education portion takes place typically September through May. Do students have to start the apprenticeship in September, or are there other start dates throughout the year?
So we take applications on the third Friday of every month, and our obligation to our contractor group is that we'll start apprentices anytime we don't have the labor to provide to them. So if we don't have any apprentices on the bench at the time they put a call in, we would pull off our labor pool list and start an apprentice. They would start their on-the-job learning at the day they get called in, but they would probably start their classroom training that next September, because we don't like to start apprentices in class once it's started, because they do progress pretty fast and it would be really hard for one of them to get caught up.
Makes sense. For students that are interested and want to apply, I know you'd mentioned every third Friday students are able to apply. What does that process look like? Where do they need to go to apply?
So they have to apply in person here at our training facility. Our address is 6350 Broadway, Denver, Colorado, 80216. And we take applications anytime between 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. And again, the only thing you have to get your application started is a valid driver's license. That starts the 30-day application window, where we need a copy of your high school diploma and transcripts, or your GED and scores. We also need a copy of your birth certificate. And then if you served in the military, we need a copy of your DD-214. And then that's when we instruct you on how to register and take the Connects Approve It exam tests. It's actually 3 tests, and there's no minimum scores on those. It's just one of the things that we require our applicants to do to see if they're actually going to do something that we instruct them to do.
For students that are maybe considering this apprenticeship or maybe some other skilled trade apprenticeships, why should they choose to work with you specifically?
I think one of the big things that you have to look at when you're considering an apprenticeship program is their completion rate. So that's the amount of people that start their apprenticeship program in first year and complete their apprenticeship in the 5th year. And I'm glad to say that our average is between 78 and 93% completion rate. When you look at some of the apprenticeship programs in the open shop area, you can look at their percentages and compared to ours, and you look at the facts and it's going to be obvious why you would want to select ours.
Awesome. All right, wonderful. Is there anything else you'd like to add for any students that might be interested?
If any of them have any kind of questions, they can look up pipe208.com and they can get our phone number and they can call down here. If they want to come down and do a one-on-one tour, we could set that kind of stuff up so they could see our training facility, so they can kind of get a better feel for what we do. Or if they have individual questions, they can call Joe or myself, Joe being the assistant director here at the training facility, and obviously myself as the director. We can answer any individual questions they might have.
Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time.